So once again, I would like to thank the speakers for the contribution, and I think we all take good note of the comments. And this is the way decision-making process should function, to hear the stakeholders, understand the reality of all people involved in the framework of taxation. This is a very topical debate and it's most relevant since intermediaries, they play a major role in several dimensions of taxation, and lawyers and consultancy firms, they are often called to contribute to national reforms on tax law. Advisors and accountants are essential on assuring compliance at the company's level, and legal professionals are a central part on the tax litigation processes. So when we talk about intermediaries, we are not talking about a professional segment, but a wide range of people that work in the tax area. The complexity of a common approach is clear. We heard it today, based on the fact that we have 27 national different legal regime framework, and that it only sheds light on the need to foster cooperation in this field instead of over-regulating. So once again, I would like to thank the speakers for the contribution, and I think we all take good note of the comments. And this is the way decision-making process should function, to hear the stakeholders, understand the reality of all people involved in the framework of taxation. I find the proposal for an ethics quality bar quite interesting, but I would like to ask our guests from CFE Tax Advisors Europe about the legal nature of such instrument. My question is if you see it as a soft law solution coming from the industry, or do you see the need for a legislative follow-up? And considering the complexity and the obstacles for an European approach, as already pointed out, how do you see the added value of an action from this Parliament? And on the other hand, and very briefly, I also want to take the opportunity to question Mr. Wardell Johnson on the impact of new technologies on taxation, as we have an ongoing work on the FISC report on the matter. You mentioned the relevance of technology on reducing errors and the risk of fraud. So how do you see the impact of such technologies on the field of taxation, of tax compliance? And if you have specific examples of good practices in a particular country that we could possibly consider. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks to the Honourable Member for the question and for the helpful comments. First, I think we all agree here that we welcome a dialogue, and this is why we accepted and very much appreciate the initiative of the European Parliament and this committee to discuss this matter before going further with any legislative or sort of even policy action. So I won't be evasive about your question, but I do think that we need a proper impact assessment to realize first what is the state of play in the regulation of this market in the European Union. I think we need to take into account the professionals, also the needs of the consumers when they receive this service, and also generally the single market. So I think before we do this exercise, we really can't be certain in which direction we could go. So, like we said, we did propose this framework, which is a principles-based framework, but we're really open to a dialogue with the institutions on how this could be put in place in practice and how this could be made workable, let's say, on a European level. So I won't speak about the choice of the instrument because this is, of course, the job of the EU institutions. But we will welcome a dialogue in this respect on how to best put in place such framework that will be reflective of the principles that we advocate for. Thank you.
Also, the added value of this initiative, I think, would be great to understand, based on possibly some examples or some illustration that you can give us in relation to that? Like, what is the added value of having such instrument?
Well, the objective of our initiative is to put this question as a central question to all intermediaries who provide tax advice. Basically, if it is legal, is it acceptable? And it's about aligning sort of the advice with some sort of, I suppose, societal expectations. And the questions, we've set this ethical bar with 5 questions, which also can be put in an affirmative form. And these are sort of, is there a genuine economic purpose for the tax planning apart from achieving a tax benefit now or in the future? Or is there any artificiality? Is this manipulated in form over substance approach? And we've seen this approach in some jurisdictions where this has been put as part of the professional code and being enforced to their membership. But still, there are those who operate outside of professional affiliation, and these sort of principles are not binding on them. So we see this as an added value for professionals who operate in this area. So the Commission mentioned about those who operate outside of this area, or you call them sort of bad apples, and we do agree. I suppose this is the minority of professionals, and certainly we agree that any action should be extended to all intermediaries providing advice. And again, the question of the legal basis, of course, there could be a European framework, there could be a recommendation and so on, but of course, it's up to the European Union to discuss this with stakeholders in the process. So we welcome the consultation that Ms. Voyer announced from the European Commission, and we are certainly very happy to contribute.
Thank you, Mr. Ivanovsky. Then I turn to Mr. Wardell Johnson from KPMG, please.
Thank you very much for that question. And can I answer it on 4 levels? The first is the structure of the tax system itself. And over time, I think we will see tax systems becoming more technologically savvy. That is, the rules in relation to the tax law will be such that the outcome of the tax liability will be based on data. And you see that in various jurisdictions throughout the world. And in Europe, Estonia seems to be a standout in relation to that. The second level is software that's developed to detect errors. So in the KPMG world, you will have KPMG people going to clients and saying, we can use this software to run across your VAT returns and the data that goes into that VAT return or GST returns to help pick up errors in relation to that. So that's the second technological level. Thirdly, and this is more in the future, AI can be used to draw tax distinctions, if you like. So AI might be used in a general applying to a general ledger system to distinguish between, say, something which is on capital account or something which is on revenue account. And I think you will see that much more in the next 5 to 10 years. That itself raises another question as to what a tax advisor is in relation to an intermediary, which is, I think, quite a big question. The final one I'm running against this is cryptocurrency and the tax interrelationship with cryptocurrency, which the OECD is focused on at the present time. They have a consultation document out in relation to that. But that presents its own challenges in terms of making sure that those involved in the crypto market are paying the correct amount of tax.